And welcome to the show.
Oh, man, I can't believe we're doing this. This is so ridiculous.
It's the show that everyone has asked us to do.
Nonstop.
No
Everyone's
one
been
quits
saying.
talking about this show, ever.
Like, I remember when this summer started and people were like, yeah, I'm kind of excited for Civil War, maybe X-Men. I mean, we'll kind of see how it goes. But everyone kept coming to me and said, hey, isn't there a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming out?
When are you guys doing Out of Shadows? That's all we get.
Oh, that's what it's called? Out of Shadows?
Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, Out of the Shadows. Okay.
These are fans that were asking it. They didn't know the title.
That's right, because they want to become humans or something in this one.
So we decided we were going to do our review of it because we saw it on Wednesday.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about it after. We thought, should we make a bit about this? People care enough. But we decided there was enough interesting information that we could.
And more so that we were actually like talking very excitedly about this movie.
Okay, and for context, you guys went and saw it last night.
Yes.
Just you two. I have not seen it.
Yeah, we didn't invite you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
We did invite him. He was hanging out with his mom-in-law.
No.
What? That was your excuse?
No. That was for today.
Oh, okay. So many
anyway,
excuses.
She comes today.
So let's get into this real quick. Because this is a bacon bit. We want to keep it as tight as possible. We're going to do the first few minutes spoiler-free, talking about it, and then we're going to get into spoilers after that. So,
right.
And we'll give
Yeah.
the clear distinction again, as we always do.
Basically, I just want to tell the story to you, Jake, and to you, the listener, because
Yeah, so tell me spoiler free.
I sat next to Joel during this movie, and wow, that was a mistake. It was just
I felt bad.
Jeez.
I felt really bad.
That's a blow.
Yeah.
Here's-
I hadn't showered in a couple weeks, and I'm off work, so you know.
Right, and we had Emily, and who's going to have to start her own podcast soon because we're basically forcing her.
Yeah.
And basically, these guys were mocking the movie the entire time.
Okay, can I clarify something here?
Yes.
So I went into this movie with let's say a jar of my suspension of disbelief jar, where I was like, okay, I can suspend my disbelief up to this point. Within the first 10 minutes, that jar was full, and my emotions were spilling out. And so
He couldn't help himself.
I kept scoffing. I kept gesturing. So I kept rubbing my temples.
We're wearing 3D glasses, and he kept like lifting him, like shaking it, like scratching his eyes out.
Yeah,
It
like,
felt like
pinching the bridge of my nose, just like, oh my gosh, because it was so ridiculous. And then I kept talking to Kent. I'd be like, no, Kent doesn't like people to talk to him during movies. He doesn't like people to make snide remarks. He wants to make them his little notebook. And so then I kept doing it. And I kept like being like, no, Joel, don't make snide remarks. And then I kept doing it.
This sounds like every movie.
Because this movie is terrible. Like, I cannot list the amount of dumb things that happen in this movie. It is so dumb. So dumb. And all it is pandering. It's Michael Bay pandering to our childhood.
Michael Bay didn't make this movie.
Just produced it, right?
He produced the movie.
It's Michael Bay pandering.
No.
Dave Green.
Michael Bay doesn't know
Michael Bay's
anything about
puppet.
fan service. He doesn't know fan service. It was someone else that was in charge of the pandering, if you
Dave
will.
Green, who's the director. And
Yeah.
I believe
Named
this is
devil.
Apparently. Jeez. No, I couldn't believe how mad this guy
who
was.
did Earth to Echo, and now this movie.
Joel
He's
was
so mad.
shaking in this movie.
It was so dumb. And I say this because, okay,
He leaned over to me at one point, and he said, "This is my sister's," and I actually got offended.
meaning that
Right.
Jacob was went to go see Sisters with Kent, and it was a miserable experience for both of them. And
No, beyond miserable. Like you saying this is your sister's, I'm like, you've seen terrible movies like
but
this
what
before.
did I say after? I said that may have been too far, but in the moment, that's how I felt. But it's definitely not that bad because it's not like I was offended by this movie. Like
Yeah.
I was mad. Like I wasn't mad at it, but it was just so dumb.
His sisters made me want to cut, you know? So
Cut anyone, himself, me, the person next to
And
us.
but I say that because like the whole premise of the movie is, you know, Ninja Turtles doing Ninja Turtle things, and they're going to do crazy things. Like in the cartoon, that's how it was.
Yes.
I was okay with it in the cartoon, but here it was just ridiculous. And there were some lines which we'll get into.
okay, yeah, let's
in the
move on
spoiler
from
free. Well, not quite yet, because I just want to give the people the idea of kind of what to expect if they do go see this. Because Kent said it's going to make money, and we got to get into Kent's spoiler free review.
It's going to make money.
Yeah, but
Yep.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't get giddy when certain things from the cartoon popped up in the show, because it is like random things and characters that come up, and it's like, oh, that's from the cartoon, and it was fun to see in a live action setting. But I could not get past how dumb this movie really was. It's 1.5 stars, guys. This is severely
is that
low.
the lowest you've given to any movie this year, in the past year?
Maybe
That's what he gave Marnie.
1.5 is pretty low. That's like
So this is pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty down there. Because like 2 stars is like, yeah, I can understand why people would like it. This one, I'm like, no, I don't understand why anyone would like this.
So why
movie.
not 1 star then?
Because like I said, there were
Is
some
there a
parts.
0 star in your
Yes.
scale?
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
That's a 0 star.
That's a 0
So
star
this
movie.
actually did okay.
It's
in comparison.
like this is honestly like a D level, D- kind of level for me. It's not good. Can't go ahead and do yours.
It's weird because he was laughing, whether unintentionally or there was sometimes glee.
I laughed
in the laughs.
one time at a joke. Like they were trying to get me to laugh, and I laughed.
Was it the fart joke?
No. But then every other time
Was
I
it
was
the 10th
laughing,
fart joke?
every other time I was laughing, it was because how dumb the movie was, and I felt bad because we were laughing in the theater, and we were the only ones laughing. Like I felt awkward.
Like we were laughing at the movie.
Yes.
Right.
And I felt
and there
bad.
were kids around, and we were the jerks.
You jerks.
But
Yes.
I tried to rein it back in. Kent, please do your keep
Kent.
talking.
So we walked out of this movie, and these guys are just railing on it, like, "Oh my gosh, that was atrocious! That was the worst thing I've ever seen." And they're looking at me, and I'm pretty quiet, you know, clearly. And they're going,
This
"No."
is your Batman v Superman.
Right. And
moment,
they're
right?
saying, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. And I'm like, I kind of liked it. And they got mad at me.
No, it came out
They were
because
yelling.
I said, Kent, was this the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles you wanted from your childhood? Or you wanted in your childhood? Because that's what he said about the original.
Do you like
Michael
his
Bay one.
tone? Do you like the tone there?
That was my tone last night, too. And Kent went, yes. This is the Ninja Turtles I wanted from my childhood.
Yes.
But the problem is, that was our childhood. The kids these days, this isn't their
Have you
Teenage
seen my
Mutant Turtles.
childhood? I mean,
There's a video.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Please, Kent. I'll step back.
okay. The Turtles, like, they try to bring him back. This is one of those, like, gimme properties that should have never come back. And when it did 2-3 years ago, they made a really lifeless movie with some action, a lot of CG, but it had nothing of, like, what you love about the Turtles. Even the attention that was given to the Turtles was little. There was no characterization. Raphael was mean. Michelangelo was a Mexican. And that was pretty much it.
And Johnny Knoxville
really,
was Leonardo.
and the highlight, or at least all the attention given, was on Megan Fox as April O'Neil. And the movie was seriously lifeless, probably because of that reason. This movie was like, if you've ever loved the Turtles, and I'm sorry, Joel, this isn't me saying you never loved the Turtles, but if you have ever wanted to see a cinematic version of the cartoon, and I'm saying dumb plot, no reason to actually get from point A to point B, and
Terrible dialogue.
just a climax that comes out of nowhere
Yep.
and makes no sense,
Right.
just like the cartoon.
Yep.
This is like a direct translation of the TV show to be 90 minutes. It's a 20-minute to 90-minute
And
translation, and it's perfect
Full
in
disclosure.
that way.
Full disclosure. If this had come out back in the days
In
of Ninja Turtles,
1991.
in 1991, that probably would have been my mentality. It was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. This is so cool.
This is the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie ever made.
No.
The best. You can put that on the freaking poster.
No.
This is the
right,
best
all right.
Turtles
Turtles
movie.
movie in years.
All right. What's your grade?
C.
That's ridiculous. Number one and number two are better.
Joel gives it like a D- or
No,
D+
the original
or
Ninja Turtles
something.
and Secret of the Ooze are better than this movie.
No, they're actually. Take off your nostalgia glasses for a second. That's them dropping you, becoming an adult. Yeah, you scratching your eyes again. Those movies were like it's almost like they didn't have the imagination or the budget to
When
make
was the
it
last time you watched them?
forever ago.
Because I own both of those, and I've watched both of those for pizza movie night with my kids. I still love them.
I'm sorry, this is way better.
No.
Because this is Ninja Turtles. It's not Taka and Razor.
I'm not taking my kids to this one. I'll tell you that
The
much.
language is a little too
Well,
adult.
and the fact there was a couple things we'll talk about in the spoiler review, but
Let's move on to that.
Okay.
get there?
We've
Okay.
given our grades. So
D minus or D? You want to say D because there was glee involved.
there was some. And,
It was-
and I was entertained.
Jake, it was unapologetically stupid.
It was
like
so
unapologetic.
stupid. But let's
Yeah.
get into it. So here's the buffer. We're going to go into spoilers now. So if you care, here's spoilers.
Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go.
Spoiler review. Spoiler.
Okay, that's gone on too long. It's a
no.
bacon bit, Joel.
Okay.
It was perfect.
Yeah, so the first 10 minutes. Wow.
All right. So yeah, the spoiler part's gonna have to be short.
Let me just give you an idea, Jacob, of
right.
how dumb the dialogue is.
I can't wait
Is
to
this
hear
the
this.
most loud you've ever heard us
I
jump
cannot
into a
wait to
review
hear
like
this.
this?
So,
Yeah.
okay, Casey Jones, he
Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Right. Stephen Amell.
Lifeless Stephen Amell.
So he works for
Always emoting Stephen Amell.
he works for the NYPD, and he's in the truck when Shredder gets escapes.
And he's on rollerblades.
And so, not yet.
Oh.
he
That's
makes
later.
those.
He makes them at the end of the
He
movie.
makes them because he's in trouble. Sorry, I'm jumping
that's
right in. he's trying to run away from these giant animals, Bebop and Rocksteady, and he's like, how do I get away? They're so fast. He sees an office chair with wheels on the bottom, so he duct tapes them to the bottom of his shoes, and they become rollerblades.
And then he rollerblades away from these guys on motorcycles.
That's not a
so
joke.
Dumb. So Casey Jones.
I'm kind of speechless from that.
I want to give the idea of the dialogue here. Casey Jones. It works for the NYPD. He's in the truck when Shredder escapes, so they blame him. And he's talking to this, what is she, the chief of police or something
Laura
like that?
Linney.
Laura Linney, which is
Great
sad to see her in
actress,
this.
Laura Linney.
But she was some authority figure. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
She's like the sheriff.
But she's like, the first, and he's like, I can help find him. And she's like, the first rule of, setting a search party for a fugitive is not letting the guy that let him get away be part of it. And she walks away and she's like, thank you, Mr. Jones. And he's like, it's Officer Jones. And she looks around, looks back at him, and he goes, and someday I'm going to be a detective.
So, like, we all lost it.
And we guffawed at that one. And she's like, well, good luck with that. It's terrible.
No, it's fun to imagine Stephen Amell doing that too.
The point when the movie just really doesn't care to keep you or lose you is when they finally have the ooze, which is an alien
which they call the purple ooze. They're like, the purple ooze is at the NYPD headquarters.
Yes.
And it's like, oh god, they don't even have a name for it.
So Shredder has the ooze, and they're about to test it on these guys, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Which, can I just explain real quick? They get the whole point is there's these pieces from Krang's ship which have gone across the Earth, and they have to gather the pieces up, and then they're going to create a portal so that Krang can come over. But they take a piece of the ship, whatever they get, to Dr. Baxter, played by Tyler Perry, who basically just goes ha, 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 the whole movie.
He was like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I kind of liked it though.
They give him the piece of the ship, and they said, "You're supposed to synthesize this." So he takes it and then puts it in a machine, which is apparently a synthesizer.
No, he had it ready. It was all ready.
It was all there. They have the machine.
The thing is, you don't understand. This movie doesn't care whether it makes sense or not.
It melts down the thing into ooze.
Yes.
He has a machine that does that. And then, they inject the guys with ooze.
So they're like... These two guys,
they're just two guys.
These two thugs,
dumb
they're
thugs.
criminals.
They were in the police transport with Shredder, and they were idiots then. So I don't know why Shredder
they
wants them.
immediately become a giant rhino and a giant warhog, which is just like the cartoon. And then they said,
which as they're transforming, they're like, "What's happening? What's happening? This feels great."
Then Dr. Perry, he goes, "Well, actually, the reason they are becoming these animals is because we all have this latent animal gene inside us that, if injected with the ooze, it will bring itself out."
So he had a warthog, and he had a rhinoceros inside him,
and so we all lost it again.
That's what they say.
Basically thinking, am I going to be a possum? Like, what's going on here?
It was so dumb because it's like they weren't even trying. Like, I honestly want to be in the room with the screenwriters when they're like, yeah, let's just say that there's a latent gene in everyone that is an animal. And their spirit animal is what they become.
So Joel, about 4 other times in this movie goes, excuse me, Ken, movie's still playing. So they don't need to break into the police station because...
So, let's get into this. So, before we get into that, the ooze,
people don't care as much about the plot as you making fun of it.
I want to bring it up though because they take the ooze. The NYPD actually gets it, so the turtles have to go in and get it before Shredder does.
Right.
So they come up with this plan to disguise themselves. Megan Fox, April O'Neil, and Casey Jones are going to disguise themselves to get into the NYPD while the turtles are climbing through the vents and giving them access to various points and dropping like access cards to them and stuff like that. Which, if you may remember, Casey Jones works for the NYPD. And so
he's on a leave of absence.
So I leaned over to Kent and I said,
so they can't get anywhere. And turtles can fit in the vents?
His shell has a difficulty getting through, but that's kind of the plot. But I leaned over to Kent and I said, Kent, legitimate question. This is as the movie's going. And I said, legitimate question. Doesn't he work for the NYPD? Why does he have to break in?
He's in disguise, by the way.
Yeah, he wears a disguise as he goes
He's in disguise.
And then I'm like, are you honestly asking me logical questions after they told us there's a latent animal gene inside us? I'm like, and he kept doing it. He's like, there's a tank in the Amazon River, right? And it is somehow just popping up out of the water every once in a while.
In the river.
In the river. And then he's like, how is that even possible? And I'm like, stop it right now. Okay, you stop this.
One of the pieces of Krang's ship is in Brazil. So the turtles climb aboard a cargo ship, which I've never been on a plane before, or a commercial airline, I think. Mm-hmm. They climb in the cargo hold, and they're flying towards Brazil. And then as they're flying there, Donatello pulls out whatever gadget ex machina he has, and he's like, oh, according to my calculations, their plane has already left Brazil and it's heading our way. And they're like, no, we're going to lose them. And he's like, no, actually, we're going to intercept their plane. So it's like 30,000 feet below them.
I saw this in the trailer.
They open up the cargo hold. They jump out of one plane and land on top of another plane.
They're Ninja Turtles with shells. They can withstand that.
Yeah, well, they fall from great heights and they're fine. And then yet at the end, we're worried about them falling from the height of the Technodrome because Krang can bring over the Technodrome. They actually put a crack in the sky, and the Technodrome has to disassemble, come through in pieces, and then reassemble. To which Donatello pulls out his little watch ex machina again, and he's like, according to my calculations, these pieces coming through are from something called a Technodrome, and the pilot is Krang.
And it actually Krang comes up on the screen. I lost it. It was so funny.
Dumb.
Like basically the outer hull of the ship told him that Commander Krang was in charge of this whole plot.
It's so dumb. And then they have this whole thing where they say the atmosphere around the Technodrome is different.
You're going so far into the weeds.
I just want to know
This
how
is
dumb
probably
it is.
more fun than actually watching the movie.
You're going so far into the weeds. The thing is, there were kids around us, one specifically kicking my chair behind me, and it didn't even ruin the movie, that was going, oh, Mom, oh, it's a Technodrome. Oh, that's so cool, when they were jumping out of planes and everything. And I go, look, we're in our 30s. We're cynical. This movie is literally garbage.
But you have to admit, the majority of the time, the audience was not into it.
I'm sorry, no, he was into it the whole time.
The kid behind us was. But the majority of the audience, I was reading the room, and I'm like, wow, everyone is basically
You realize you're sitting in critic circle. Like, we're all...
The room.
No, I'm sorry. People were into this movie.
No.
And I think people will be because it's fun, it is unapologetically gleeful, and they bring in every part of the comics that you wanted, or sorry, comics and cartoon that you wanted, and most importantly... I mean, yes, they do ruin Casey Jones, but they give the Turtles...
They didn't ruin him.
How did they ruin her?
They didn't ruin
Casey
him.
Jones is a guy.
They didn't ruin him. They just made him...
No, Casey
into
Jones
nothing.
was so cool in the original two movies. He was so cool.
Those movies you don't like anymore because you like this one better?
He was cool. He was the best part. Everyone wanted to be Casey Jones.
2 minutes for high sticking.
In this movie, anyways. But the thing is, they gave, and more so than the first Ninja Turtles that came out a couple years ago, they showed a love for the characters. The Turtles got to be the Turtles, and they all had specific... personalities.
They had that in the first movie.
They did not. They were so overshadowed by everything else, and now they're out of the shadows. And
which in the opening credits is kind of funny because as they're running up, it's like Leo, the leader, Raph, the muscle, and it's like Mikey, pizza lover.
yeah, and the kid behind me was like, Mikey! And I was like, this is a movie for 9-year-olds. And you know what? Good for them because they're going to get a kick out of this.
But I'm not taking my 9-year-old to this movie.
This is a movie that should have been made in 1991, and it would have been one of the coolest movies of the year.
Okay.
Granted, it's 2016.
Let me just explain some of the reasons I'm not going to show this to my kids. First of all, there's some language that I'm like, oh. Well,
There's a lot of language.
And then when they turn into the rhinoceros and the warthog, and they're like, oh, man, I feel so strong. Me too. And then they both simultaneously pull open their pants, look down, and go, all right, my man.
My man.
And they give each other fist bump. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you saw movies all the time in the 80s that were a little too adult for you, and you had no idea what things meant.
I'm pretty sure I
older.
understand people looking down their pants.
There were a lot of things in Goonies that you're like, I don't even know what that means. Keep talking about it.
But it's so dumb. It was just so dumb. And violent, too.
And Krang was there, and Krang was cool.
Krang, no.
Yeah, Krang was cool. It was so much more of a character than boring Shredder. Because Shredder in this movie and the other one...
And Shredder was wasted in this movie. Really, they didn't use him at all. It's mostly Krang. And then Krang isn't like the, Shredder. It's like... He's Brad Garrett. It's basically...
Here's a Raymond. That kind of voice.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It is so much fun. Obviously a dumb movie, but this is my equivalent was this is the Fast Five of this kind of movie. Because Fast Five is really, really stupid. None of it makes sense, but it's fun. And it gets high marks.
I just think it's a decade or two too late. I think that the dialogue was terrible, and I think that it was too adult for kids and too dumb for adults.
Okay. I mean, that's probably accurate, but I still would have loved this in the early 90s.
But like I said,
I kind of love it now. I will see this again.
I'd be lying if I didn't.
I'd see it again.
At the theater?
Oh, please, no.
Not in the theater. Let's not be crazy.
You want to go? You want to go tonight?
No, I don't.
You watch this over Last Stand?
Yes.
Oh,
I would watch this over X-Men 3, The Last Stand, any day.
That's ridiculous.
Any day of the week.
And like I said, I said this in the spoiler free, but I'll get in the spoiler full here. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get giddy when I see Bebop with his purple slitted sunglasses and then as a warthog, and then when I saw the Technodrome and when I saw Krang, seeing those things was really, really fun.
It's wish fulfillment on screen.
It is, but then it's just
you call it pandering. It is
it
exactly
was pandering.
what people wanted.
I think it's what we wanted back in the day, but we don't want that now.
I pulled up Rotten Tomatoes to see what people were saying. It's at 30% right now, by the way.
Who cares?
Which is higher than Batman.
And,
Superman.
Do you know how much Popstar has? It's like in the 90s, and that's the worst movie.
Oh, yeah?
The worst?
Oh, here's the first
It's one of the
snippet.
worst of the year.
Oh,
easily,
of the year,
for me.
okay.
Here's the first snippet I see. Better title. When really ugly CG creatures fight.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that made me
But
laugh.
I'm sorry, and we haven't mentioned it. Megan Fox.
She's very attractive, and they do not try to hide the fact that they're just showing her for her looks.
She dresses like a schoolgirl.
At the very
costume.
beginning, she gets in the
Uniform.
schoolgirl costume to kind of blend in to get some sort of files from a guy.
It works.
And she is
Suffice it
attractive.
to say, it works.
She is attractive, but she's completely wasted this movie, too.
No, she's not. She has more of a character
Splinter
than
was
she did in the
wasted.
first movie.
Casey Jones was wasted. Megan Fox was wasted.
I
There
disagree.
was just enough Vernon.
Vernon?
Will Arnett.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
All right.
there we go.
Final thoughts? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Final thoughts. This is a ridiculously stupid movie. I was entertained at parts, but almost of how stupid it was. But it doesn't quite get to the how so dumb it's good realm.
So Joel says go see it. Kent says it's the
No.
best movie of the year.
Essentially,
This is why people have been waiting for this movie for so long.
no one's waiting for this movie. No one's even waiting for a review of this movie.
Everyone's
Why are we
confused
doing this bacon
why
bit?
there's a review. All right.
Surprise bacon bit.
Anyways,
Thank you for listening. This has been Baconsale. And someday I'm going to be a detective.